Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Thoughts with Fara. And today we're going to talk about another feature from Planetside 1 that currently doesn't exist in Planetside 2 and might have a fun and beneficial role to play. And I want to talk about base captures. And specifically what's known as an LLU, or a capture the flag mechanic. So I want to show you right now Planetside 2. Here we're looking at the map of Hosson, specifically on Miller, and the way that you capture a base is through what are known as lattice links, these connecting links. A base that is vulnerable is in sort of yellow and black kind of dotted line, and a base that's solid and connecting is the solid faction line, so red, blue, purple, etc. And then how you take a base is, on the smaller outposts, there is a single capture point that you approach, and then it flips when you're next to it in a sort of proximity, so that's like capture the flag on a base, as it were, and then it starts a timer. In case in point here, we see population, and we see a ticking number, and we see how long, and it's 4 minutes for a small outpost, it's 7 minutes for a large outpost. So like Genesis here, there are 3 capture points, and depending if you have the majority, how long it takes, so the capture time can vary, but it can take quite a long time. And then we have kind of outposts that have a single capture point, and they're 7 minutes, and you have to hold them for a long time. Now that's currently how it works in this game. Now, how did it work in Planetside 1, you are not asking? Well, let me tell you. I'm going to show you a map of an old continent known as Force Roll. This is Force Roll. Now this is an old Planetside 1 map, and there are lots of icons and logos and whatnot, but ultimately what we're interested in is we see there's a little clock logo or this little flag logo. And here we go, do this. And the clock logo meant that it takes 15 minutes to capture. The flow and the speed of the game was slower back then, there were fewer bases, etc. So you basically hunkered down, you grabbed the control point, and then you held it for 15 minutes against everything the defenders could then throw at you to take it back. However, bases that had this little flag icon, they had an LLU, capture the flag mechanic. Now an LLU is when you went into the base, is this little football here. You went in, and once you've started the base hack, this item spawns on its terminal, somewhere in the base, but it's the same place all the time. So as a player, I would go and grab that football, and then I would essentially be on me, and I'd be glowing to let people know. And then on the map, you would be glowing. If I had it from Ogma, I would be pulsating. So like everyone, all the bad guys and all the good guys know that's where the LLU is. There he is. And then the way that you captured is you then took it to a friendly base, and it would be random. So if I go back to Planetside 2, for example, to kind of showcase, let's say I am at Ixta power regulation, we have attacked Woodman ASC as the red team attacking the purple team, then it was an LLU run, it could only ever go back to Ixtab because there's only one connecting lane. Whereas if there were multiple connecting lanes, I'm trying to see over here at Fort Drexler, so the new conglomerate might be attacking Fort Drexler, for example, and they have 3 lanes, so the LLU might be one of 3 options because there are 3 possibilities of it going to. Now in this instance, Hurricane Pass is under attack, so that wouldn't be eligible, so you'd have really 2 options, right? So you get where I'm going at here, how it would spawn. And then the goal is, as the player, you must then take that LLU ball to the capture point of the friendly base, and once you get there, you've essentially captured the flag and the base flips. Now, why is this interesting or entertaining? Well, originally in Planetside 1, you had 15 minutes to capture it, and there were certain caveats. You couldn't fly. If it touched water, the ball would destroy itself, and I think the defenders could actually grab the ball and take it back, or they could grab it and go to water to sort of destroy it, so you'd have to restart the whole run. But it was cool because it took the fight out of the base. There was the base fight where you had to defend the capture point that triggered the cap, and then there was the fact that you as your guy with a glowing ball could get in a vehicle, but when you got in a vehicle, the speed of that vehicle was heavily reduced, and then you sort of convoyed from one base to the next. So for example, if we were attacking Iron Quay as the Terran Republic and we had to capture the ball, okay, the distances are not as big as what they were, for example, in Planetside 1. The distances between these bases is much, respectively larger, but there was a really cool mechanic of where all the enemy aircraft, or all the enemy vehicles, they would wait for you at a choke point or like a, you know, like an open clearing. So normally what you would do is you would grab the capture ball inside of a Skyguard, and then, because it was a two-man vehicle in Planetside 1, and then one would be the driver and you were the gunner, and you would just be like zooming along and you're like firing AA because all the enemy aircraft are coming in to kill you to stop that LLU run. It just made a far more interesting capture mechanic that brought over stale cap timers. There was another element to it, capturing the flag. It was a hell of a lot of fun. I'm not saying you put it everywhere, but intersperse it between bases that have long lattice links, or maybe do it for large outposts or something like that, just to kind of freshen up, make it interesting. How difficult would that be to implement in the game from a technical standpoint? That's not for me to say, because I'm not a programmer or designer in that sense. But how fun would it be as an engagement or a fun element to gameplay? Oh yeah, it would be a lot. You imagine that? Just like more out in the open combat for a reason behind it. Maybe you can throw in some construction elements. I don't know, like going to a base or a constructed element to try and take it. But there would be a timer on the thing, so you couldn't have the capture ball indefinitely. It would be like you have 10 minutes or 4 minutes or 7 minutes to capture, to take this ball to the other one. Otherwise it despawns and the base reverts itself and you have to start the cap all over again. But it would be fun, and that's why I suggest it. Anyway, thank you for watching. By all means, please post your ideas, comments, and what you think of this below, and I love to get around to them. Anyway, you're right.